Hey everyone, today we're heading up to the base of Mount Washington to do the Huntington Ravine Trail. It's supposed to be one of the most difficult ones in the Northeast. We're going to see how bad it really is. I've climbed Mount Washington on 4 other occasions, 3 times from the other side, which is the easiest side, once from this side, but not the difficult trail. We'll see how it goes. It's 3:30 a.m. We'll be there around 4. We'll have about an hour before sunrise where I'm going to start doing the base of the hike, which is not too difficult. You can do it in the dark. Got some lights. Actually, there's a full moon right now, which will really help. It's about 45 degrees. By the time we get to the top this afternoon, it's supposed to be 50 up there. It only takes about 3 hours to get up, though. We are at Pinkham Notch Visitor Center, where the parking is. There's quite a few cars here, most likely sleeping on the mountain overnight. Look how full the moon is. Alrighty. We're going to be following the Tuckerman Ravine Trail up until the Huntington Ravine Trail, which this does not mention. Alright, I don't think that's going to affect us. Since the Lion Head is still open, it's just parts of this one are closed because of damage. That's not going to affect us. Sun is just starting to peak. Gonna need the lights for about another hour. Alright, been hiking about 40 minutes. We got to the point. Trees are getting a little shorter. I can actually see the trail now without the lights. I tell you, on a rainy day or the spring, there is some serious water coming down here. This morning may only be 43 degrees, but I'm starting to regret wearing a jacket. Started this trail almost shivering, but now I'm sweating like crazy. Someone lost their hat. All right, we've come up here. Huntington Ravine. All right, so we're gonna leave the Tuckerman Ravine Trail, which is the big trail. You see most of the traffic of people goes on it. Now this trail is definitely a lot smaller. Not many people take it. And look, gonna have a nice sunrise in a little while. Come up to a warning sign. Do you really want to take the Huntington Ravine Trail to the summit? Requires hands and feet. A slip or fall can result in injury or death. Darkness, wet conditions. All right. I knew what I was expecting on the way up here. All right, we reached another junction. Just came from down there. So that was about a half a mile. Now we got 2.6 miles to the very top of the mountain. This trail, you're constantly crossing little streams and walking along them. It's really nice. For the time being, the trail's really easy. That water's absolutely freezing. Look at that, big wall. This entire place goes underwater during the spring thaw. Very refreshing if you want to wash your face off on the way. Gets pretty sweaty no matter how cold it is. Hoping to get a little higher. The sun is not officially up yet. We're almost done with our tree cover. The Huntington Ravine just came into this. Some type of clearing for access. Probably for snowmobilers or someone to come up to rescue people who attempted in the winter. You can see the sun right there. If I was up there at that point, I would be able to see the sun. The sun has not come up high enough to see it from my perspective yet. I can see that streak of light is slowly getting lower until the point where I'll see it. Whoa, that's a big toad. Look at that thing. There's a big old toad. Look how slow it is. It's pretty cold out. Perfect camouflage, isn't it? Look at that guy. Gotta be careful picking those guys up. Pick them up gently from the sides, because if the back of them is in your hand, they're gonna pee on you. We got a nice water crossing. Here we go, crossing again. This trail's awesome. It got so many water crossings to it. Here's that snowmobile road we passed before for emergencies. That's a bridge going over the stream. Now this part of the trail, look how flat it is. A lot of people doing these trails who are from out west, this is what they come expecting, because a lot of their trails are like this, flattened out intentionally until you get to the top. There's always snow on those taller mountains. But most of the mountains up here, the entire trail looks something like this, with all the rocks. Most of the trails aren't smooth. They're left natural like this. Okay, look at his shelter here. For emergency use, if you need a safe place out of the elements, or there's first aid in there, probably tools in there to help dig. There's a shovel on the side in case of an avalanche, and I'm not quite sure what's inside of these tubes. Maybe to give someone air. Whatever it is, they're packed with something really heavy. That really is beautiful, watching the sun slowly rise. Now this is not the top of the mountain. We won't see the top until we get up to that point. It's starting to get more treacherous now. We're not even close to what we will be in. Feel that? Forecast said there'd only be 30-mile-an-hour winds. Definitely feels stronger because it's going around this bowl in the mountain. But the top of the mountain is supposed to be in the 50s today, which is quite warm. I did it once when it was 38 and sleet. This is pretty cool there. Look at this big cave. Getting really windy. Sign's missing, but I think it used to say entering alpine zone. No camping, no leaving the trail, because the plants up here are fragile. It appears we're going up this big collapse of rocks through that crack. But first, we gotta make our way through a bunch of tight crevices. Look at this crevice here. That'd be a great shelter. You see how far down that goes? Yep, this is what this part of the trail's like. Slowly making my way over boulders with all these deep cracks. Very windy up there. This is pretty cool. Look at the size of these rocks. You either gotta go over or under. I'm gonna choose to go under. That was the right choice. I love these little maze of caves. So awesome. Wow, there's so many caves. Look at that. You can literally go down inside this and stay out of the wind. It's just so many crevices here. Those rocks where all the crevices are. Look at this. We're currently above the clouds. Hoping we can continue to do that until we get to the top. We won't be able to see down into the valley. Too much smog and humidity. But hopefully we'll be able to see quite a ways over. I wanted to do this trail last winter, but it's a big no-no in the winter doing it alone. You gotta have rope and a second person, because when this whole place is packed with snow, you see this crevice here, it goes down like 10 feet. You can easily fall into that if you're alone. There's a whole bunch of those crevices all over the trail. Yeah, just look at this one here. You got to jump across this like 2-foot opening. Right here, you see the trees hiding it, but there's a big hole here going all the way down inside this crevice. And look what's down there. Whole bunch of snow. And you see how far it actually goes? I don't know if you can see depth, but that dark spot right there falls like another at least 10 feet. Yup, not the place to fall. Just like right here, that's a trap. If I was to go into this tree, go down there like 20 feet. Look at this, there's another deep crevice with snow. Now I gotta make my way through all this. Careful not to twist something. More caves. Look how tight that one is. I could fall down there at the right angle. See, it goes down maybe 15 feet till you see the bottom is full of snow. I just had to make my way around that one. Like feet here, arms against that. I'm surprised there's still snow up here. It's the beginning of July. Kind of awesome to see snow. This mountain, the top of it anyways, can receive snow any month of the year. Having a little break from the pack. Underneath these nice trees, out of the wind for the last time. All right, I just arrived on top of this big, looks like a rock slide a while back. That's where all those crevices were. I hope that's not the worst part of the trail everyone's afraid of, because that doesn't look half that bad. That's a beautiful waterfall. It's really windy up here, by the way. A few times it feels like it's gonna blow you off the side. Just climbed up this pile of rocks. The bottom of it had some stripes, but then I lost the stripes. There's no arrow telling you to leave the rock pile. The trail's actually right here, because I can see one of the corn markers right there. That pile of rocks is a marker. See it going up here? It's okay, I'll catch up with it in like 100 feet at the top of this rock pile. No big deal. Honestly, I think climbing the rock pile is easier, because over here, you're climbing like a 45-degree steep trail that's kind of smooth. So if you slip, you're not gonna be able to stop yourself going down that. But at least here, it's more like stairs to ascent. Finally, the sun is starting. It's about to hit me as it peeks around that corner. We might have a good view if we make it up there in time. After following the little stream a little ways, see, it comes down that crevice. Now it's time for the part of the trail you gotta go down on all fours. See the stripes? Gotta follow those stripes. Looks like we're going up this ledge right here. Doesn't look too bad. Probably 45, maybe 50-degree angle at the worst. One fall, you're gonna be dead or seriously hurt. That's what that warning sign was at the beginning. All right. It's not gonna be too bad. Just gotta make my body as flat as possible. You don't want a higher point of gravity. This would be much worse if I was carrying more gear. I'm not carrying a tent. I'm not carrying a lot of supplies. All I have is a small backpack with a couple drinks and a couple snacks. Just enough for today. Worst part's over. It's going to be some really nice flowers up here come another week or so. Here's our marker. We're going back into a little bit of cover from the wind. Down there was pretty steep. Probably the worst part, because it's a flat surface. Nothing to hold on to. Definitely getting steeper right here. But at least there's a lot of small ledges to hold on to. A lot of good finger grooves as my way up this. See that? Look what's coming towards me. It's gonna hit me in the next couple minutes. Fog. And it probably won't clear away, because look at this big wall right here coming towards me. Yep. A few minutes, I'm not going to be able to see a few feet in front of my face. Look at this fog. It keeps coming and going. Every time it swirls around and hits me, it's freezing for a second. But take a look at this part of the trail. That's really physically demanding. It's not even steps. I had two parts I literally had to pull myself up and over. A really brief break before another steep part. Got some pretty nice stairs. Ooh, feels like I'm gonna get blown off the mountain now. The forecast up here didn't say it was gonna be this windy, but it says current conditions 45 miles an hour. It wasn't supposed to be over 30, but it's all right. Makes it all more interesting. Hope you can hear me over this wind. See that scar down there? That's where the snowmobile trail goes to that avalanche shack. I think I can even see the shack down there. On a normal, good weather day, I'd have no problem going back down this. I'm gonna go back down the Lionhead Trail because with the combination of struggling to hold on to the cliff in a few spots, with this super strong wind I'm trying to block right now, it's just not safe going down. I don't feel it safe. But now we're gonna follow these corns up to another junction that'll get us to the top. I can briefly see some building up there way in the distance, but now the fog is rolling in fast. Pretty soon I won't be able to see that road. Okay, now the purpose of these corns that you see, or you can call them cairns, are to mark the trail if you do it in the winter. Because even though this area gets snowfall that is above your head, the wind keeps it from building up. It fills in all the cracks, making it smoother. But most of it blows off the mountain, so this stuff is still visible. We've reached the junction. Gonna take a left. It'll bring us to the top. Look at that. I don't know if you can tell, but that thing's like 12 feet tall. That tower is massive. I'm just trying to figure out which way I'm supposed to go. I gotta consult the map. The sky is clearing again. Might actually have a view up here after all. That's a nice trail. See how they built all the cairns. They even made a border of the trail going to this junction. Now this is going to bring us up to the top. The final junction. Hope you can hear me with this 45-mile-an-hour wind. The entire left side of me is wet from the mist. Okay, so this is where we're going to take this trail. We're on the Huntington Ravine Trail now. If you go this way, it's the auto road, 100 yards. And the Alpine Garden Trail is that last junction where you saw it was like a really nice trail going through the big grassy flatland. So we should be there within the next 20 minutes, I think. We might just get a view up here. Look behind me. Suddenly it just got bright as the sun is trying to burn through all this fog. Oh, look at that. A minute ago I couldn't even see that. The fog was so bad. That's the auto road. And that looks like a lower parking lot. So where's the building? It should be right behind that fog. I'm standing on top of some peak here. Still can't see the top. It's behind all that fog. But I'm gonna keep following the markers. Can't believe it. Have not seen one other person. Look at the sun, almost blocked out. Got some nice little pools of water up here. It's nothing like if you climb the other side of the mountain. There's a giant pond up there called the Lake of the Clouds. I'm still following. I don't see the top yet. All the way up. Haven't seen one single person yet. But I can hear the train. The train is definitely up here. maybe, or some kind of construction. I hear something making noise over there. I don't even think the train's running yet. It's only not even 7 a.m. yet. Crossing the auto road. Now the building is right there. I know it is. I've been here before. But it's just so foggy, you can't see a thing. They're doing something up top with excavators. I hear construction. That's what the noise I was hearing is. Imagine in today's market how much a pressure-treated board that big costs. That looks like a 12 by 12. Huge. They've been doing track work, as you can see. Look how that's built. The cog track. And our trail is bringing us right over it. You can actually get permission to hike up alongside this. There's a sign at the bottom. I've never done that before, but it would be interesting, especially for a rail fan, to get to see that. You get to see every train if you do it during business hours. I don't think they're open yet because you would hear trains. All right. And these days, the train is a lot more expensive to ride than it used to be because there's a demand for it. I remember years ago, you could get a ride up here. It was actually a reasonable price, and it wasn't packed with people. It wouldn't even be half full back then. But with the internet and the place becoming so popular, they have more trains than ever now. They got rid of the steam trains because they weren't efficient enough to bring people up, although the steam train does come up once a day in the morning for people who just want to see the steam train, which is awesome. They still use it. Now they have just a bunch of diesels, which are a lot faster for going up and down. I believe those can get up here in just 20 minutes. Log Railway even has a museum down there. Their old museum was awesome. It was hands-on, it was rustic, it was great. I think they destroyed the place when they got rid of it. Their new museum, it's just posters on the wall. There's electronic screens. You push a button for a small video. It's stupid. There's nothing. There's no displays anymore. I think they wrecked the place when they rearranged the building. But I got old videos of the museum if you look in my description of this video. There's the outline of the building finally starting to show itself. The wind is almost completely gone, but the fog is not going anywhere today. All right, we're here. We're gonna go back the Lion's Head Way. This is one of the toughest buildings in the world because Mount Washington has recorded the worst wind of any other place on Earth because I think they built another place now, an even higher weather station, but for a long time this held the record for highest weather station. I hear construction, but I have yet to see one person on the entire hike. Got some chairs. Here's where the train unloads. That is weird. This part of the building is closed during tourist season. Weird. Maybe it's just not open yet for the day. Some construction workers over there. First people I've seen the entire day. Not one hiker the whole time. So I guess early in the morning's the time to do it. Because when you consider Mount Washington, this is not bad weather. This is actually great weather. Because right now it's 50 up here with this wind. I'm not freezing my hands. I've been up here times. My entire face was frozen. Been being hammered with sleet. Today is not bad at all. This is the official top. Usually when you come up here, there's like a line a half an hour long to get up here and take a picture with the sign. But to tell you the truth, probably 90% of the people trying to get a picture did not hike the mountain themselves. They drove or they took the train. You see, on a good day, you'd be able to stand on this giant deck and you see the binoculars that you drop a few quarters in. You'd be able to see forever. But like I said, 90% of the time, you're not going to see a thing. And it makes sense why the restaurant building is closed. Downstairs, there's hiker shelter and bathrooms, but it makes sense why it's closed. There's no one here. Why would they have it open? Look how early it is. They don't make anything like breakfast. It probably doesn't even open until like noon. Look at the old hotel here. That building's also closed right now. Can't look around inside it. And the fog is so bad, look, you can't even see that. We're up here on top of the mountain. Looks great. Yep. At the moment, it's closed. Here's the other side of the mountain. I got videos of doing the Jewel Trail, which goes to the Cog Railway's parking lot. There's so much noise, wind going around that tower, and I believe there is a turbine of some sort up there too. This is kind of cool. Look at a smokestack on this building so the wind doesn't go down inside it. Let's see if we can find a way in the building downstairs. Today, the on and off wind is definitely the strongest I've felt in the other times I've done this mountain, but at least it's around 50 degrees, which makes it very pleasant. The wind is actually nice. It's part of the experience of climbing the mountain. But the last time I did it, the wind wasn't quite as bad, but it was hailing. I didn't have a jacket. I had short sleeves, I had shorts, and it was 38. It wasn't terrible because when you're moving, you're generating heat, but it's definitely good to have some kind of long sleeves and long pants just to keep it off yourself. Yeah, this building, look at, they're doing a lot of renovations to it. You see how they're like, looks like they're hammering away at everything, doesn't it? That's one big tough door. Looks like something I've seen in those abandoned bases we've looked at. Those shingles are all new. This is kind of cool. See the light in there? And this is where they would set up cameras because a lot of the weather people like to do time-lapse videos of ice and stuff accumulating. That's what that is. Oh well, I'm going back down. I just looked at all these doors. I don't see any lower level the sign is talking about. I don't really care though. Don't need to go inside. Look at all that crumbling concrete right into the center of the cinder blocks. Makes sense why renovations are underway. Look at the whole patio is all crooked and messed up. Honestly, I don't see the point of even having that drain right there. I understand this corner, but the way it's designed, it looks like it's going to handle a lot more, but this is all... It looks like everything is leading into the building, doesn't it? The building is literally the low spot here, but the drain is like up a ways. Okay, I literally tested every single door on the building. I don't know what that sign is talking about. There is no way into at least this building. There's no way into it. That's a bit messed up right there. Those bricks are there to hold that grate up. Nothing's holding that grate. This water's coming from a culvert right there, which is most likely coming from roof drains. Anyways, I barely drink any water coming up here. Didn't really feel like it, but look right here. Oh, come on. It's early July and that stuff's not active? Really? Oh yeah, that grate right there comes down here. Here. And right off the mountain. Only 10% chance of rain today? Yep, it's gonna happen. This fog is slowly turning into heavy mist. This whole area, rocks are getting slippery. I think they replaced these. I gotta go back and look at older videos I have to confirm. That's a big track. Like full size, something you'd use on a freight train nowadays. But this is the older track. Look how small that was. That's what the steam trains used to use. I don't know if they did the whole thing or if they have a transition back to this somewhere. But you see, unlike a big train, they're not even using the entire track, as you can see. They're like riding just on the inside. Take a look at this road, how it's all scuffed up. That's from all their snowcats and maintenance vehicles coming up here all winter. It's too foggy to find anything else. So we're gonna take the Alpine Garden Trail and we're gonna meet up with Lion's Head that way. Too foggy to see anything up here. It may not look that foggy to you on the camera, because believe it or not, the next time it's foggy, take out your smartphone, hold it up to the fog, it'll be able to see through it much better than the human eye. Personally, I can't see anything that's okay. On the camera, I can't see this rock pile right here. It's able to see through it so much easier. That is so cool in this constant windy environment. Look how the pine trees grow, flat against the ground so they don't catch the wind. Finally out of the grassy area, starting to get back down into a small forest. And there's so many streams. There's one here, one up there. Looks like there's another one right there. There's so much trickling water, which makes this so much more enjoyable. I can tell you right now, this trail is not that old, because this tree wouldn't have been able to grow in the middle of the trail. Pink of Notch is the parking lot I pulled into this morning. So almost 3.5 miles down this way. Amazingly, that hiker right there is the third guy I've seen. I saw 2 people coming back down the mountain after about 4 hours on the trails, not seeing a single person. Not too many people out this early. I didn't know that. I thought this place would always be packed with tourists, but I guess that doesn't start until the afternoon. I've never done a big hike this early. I'm blocking the wind with my body, but if it wasn't for putting on a hood, this actually hurts your ears. It says the wind is only 30, but no. This bowl is making it like a funnel. It's condensing the wind. It is so strong. It is so strong. I wish I had earplugs for this area. Yeah, you see how the wind's coming up out of that funnel? It's a great feeling having mist hitting you probably 50 miles an hour. This is at least 50 miles an hour. It almost wants to push you over. It's a great feeling. When you're facing towards it, it's difficult to breathe. It's cool. Finally got some temporary relief before we get into an area where you can see the wind is blowing really fast. I just passed a group of British tourists and they were questioning why I wear rubber boots on something like this, asking if they were comfortable. Yeah, they are. These are actually comfortable for a pair of only $30 boots. These are not the ones with the steel sole. That would be miserable. A sole that doesn't move, you know, over this kind of stuff. But steel toe is actually great because, you know, it stops you from stubbing your toe. A lot of hiking boots have that, and rubber boots are good for big puddles. But these ones are not exactly waterproof. The other trail is muddy. Walking through mud is one thing, but water is a different thing. Mud is not going to make it through these little cracks that are forming. Water will. There's a totally different story. These are my junky ones. I didn't wear the good ones today. See this big gap? That gap was the size of this one when I started, and this one wasn't here. They're 2 years old. I can't believe it took 2 years to get this. Look at the bottom. You know why it's like deformed like that? Used them when I was magnet fishing in a fireplace for nails, but the fireplace was still hot. And it doesn't matter to me. They're pretty much useless for what I'm doing. I'm just trying to completely wear them out now before I throw them away. So today I started the climb. It was 43 degrees at the bottom. And going up to the top, it was almost 50 degrees at the top, so it wasn't too bad. Took off my jacket for a minute. Yeah, it's still pretty cold with the heavy wind. Put it back on. And this happens every time hiking. The bottom of the mountain, it's only supposed to be like 68 degrees today for the high. But still, the sun is starting to beat on me, going through the clouds. I'm starting to boil. I'm gonna start sweating a whole bunch going down this. Haven't been on this part of the trail in probably 6 years, at least. But I remember this part. About the only part I remember so far. All right, that trail wasn't that bad. Now we're coming back. This is the Tuckerman Ravine Trail. That will go right back to the parking lot, passing where we cut off to go on the Huntington Ravine Trail. All right, it's gonna be pretty easy now, going back to the parking lot, because most of this, as you can see, it's kind of flattened out, so they can get emergency vehicles up here. Yeah, there's nothing else that's going to be complicated on the way back. Got a nice little bridge. When I say emergency vehicles, I'm not talking about anything like summertime. It's mostly snowmobile, maybe even a snowcat in the winter. This is another way to get to the Huntington Ravine Trail. That would avoid that big river crossing I had to do in the middle of the night. We got on down here where you had to cross the river. This is a later turnoff, which makes the trail longer. Oh, look at this. Ton of water passes through here when it's raining. And look at that. You got the harder stone mixed in with softer stone, so years of weathering does that. Right here next to the trail, you see the park rangers put a bunch of rocks there because they don't want someone setting up their tent there for the night. You got to be at least a quarter mile off the trail to make camp. Tuckerman Ravine Trail. Some people walk this. Nothing says you can't. That's the access when we were coming up, where it was all cut going to that avalanche shelter, and we crossed that. So that means down here, right up ahead, is going to be where we cut in. There's the hat. This is where we started in the morning. I could have sworn there was a big building up here somewhere. I guess it may have been off one of the side trails and I just missed it, but I think I might be thinking of Lafayette. And we're back to the first bridge that we were at in the dark. There's 3 identical bridges like this. You only pass by one on the way up because we didn't do Tuckerman Ravine to go up, just on the way back. And now it's like a 10-minute walk back to the parking lot. I have an app on the phone that tells me my exact elevation, so that helps to tell you how far up the mountain you are. Right now we're not really descending much more. Currently at 2,100 feet elevation. The trail starts probably around 2,000, so you're actually only hiking 4,000